Okay, 5th grade math. This is our 4:30 language video. So today we are talking about rounding off decimals. So rounding off decimals is the exact same way as our other rounding of numbers that we did. We just have to use our looker digit and then determine what that looker digit is telling us to do. Is it telling us to leave the number the same or to add one onto the number we're supposed to be rounding, okay? So let me start. If we have, when we were rounding cents, if we have $6.38 and they're telling us to round, no, not cents, and they're telling us to round to the nearest tenth. Our looker digit is always the digit behind the number we're rounding to. So we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so our looker digit will be the 8. Now remember, any digit that's 5 or above, we're going to add 1 to our digit we're rounding to. So rounding to the nearest tenth, our answer would be 6 point plus 1, 6.4. Okay? If we have the number 6.32, okay, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth, remember, the digit past where we're rounding is our looker digit. This is where we're rounding to. And it's less than 5. So that tells us we're just going to leave that digit alone, and it will be 6.3. Okay, I think you guys are going to do just fine with this. Let's have the number 0.356. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm videoing a little bit later in the morning than what I normally do, so I don't know what might happen on this video, but we'll just keep going and see. So on this one, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So this is our hundredths place, so the digit after will be our looker digit. That looker digit is 5 or more, so we are going to add 1 to the digit in front of it. So our rounding to the nearest hundredth would be 0.36. Okay, let's do another one like that. If we have 0.498 and we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, we have tenths, hundredths. The 8 is our looker digit. It's 5 or above, so we'll add 1 to our digit we're rounding to. Now we can't put 410 in there, so we'll just have to go to the next. After 49 comes 50, so it would round to 0.50. Okay, and let's do one more. If we have 0.793, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. Here's our hundredths place. The digit after is our looker digit. As long as it's less than 5, we can just leave our number we're rounding to the same, 0.79. Okay? So that is how that goes. So let's go ahead and look on page 279. And we are going to look at section 1. We're going to round these off to the nearest tenth. So in 0.47, if we're rounding to the nearest tenth, the 4 would be our tenths place. The place after it would be the hundredths. That would be our looker digit, the 7. So 0.47, rounding to the tenth, the 7 is our looker digit. So that's more than 5 or more. So rounding to the nearest tenth, it would be 0.5. We would go up 1 digit. Okay, next we have 1.62. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. The digit after that place in the hundredths will be our looker digit. It's less than 5, so we just leave our number we're rounding to the same, 1.6. Then we have 0.88, rounding to the nearest tenth. The digit after it is our looker digit. It's 5 or more, so we will add 1 to the digit we're rounding to, 0.9. Letter D, we have 0.29. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. The number after it is our looker digit. It's 5 or more, so we will add 1 to the digit we're rounding, 0.3. Look at letter E. We have 7.45. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. The digit after is our looker digit. It's 5 or more, so we know we will add 1 to the digit that we are rounding. So it will be 7.5. And the last one, we have 6.23. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. The digit after is our looker digit. It's less than 5, so that tells us we leave our rounded digit alone, and it rounds to 6.2. Okay, look at section 2 for the hundredths place. So now, if we're rounding to the hundredths place, we will underline the hundredths place, tenths, hundredths, so the second digit after the decimal, and the thousandths place, the third digit after the decimal, will be our looker digit. So if we have 0.829, we're rounding to the nearest hundredths, tenths, hundredths. The 9 in the thousandths place will be our looker digit. It's 5 or more, so we will add 1 to our place where we're rounding, and it's 0.83. Letter B, we have 0.463. 0.463. We're rounding to the hundredths place. The 3 is our looker digit. It's less than 5, so our number we're rounding to stays the same, 0.46. Next we have 1.205. We're rounding to the hundredths place, tenths, hundredths. The digit in the thousandths place will be our looker digit. It's 5 or above, so we add 1 to the place where we're rounding. 0 plus 1 is 1, so 1.21 is how it rounds to the hundredths place. Next we have 1.316. The hundredths place is where we're rounding. The thousandths place will be our looker digit. It's 5 or above, so we add 1 to the digit in our hundredths place. So it is 1.32, rounding to the hundredths place. Letter E, we have 2.493. The 9 is our digit in the hundredths place. That's where we're rounding. Our 3 is our looker digit. It's less than 5, so we leave our digit we're rounding to alone, and it's 2.49. And the last one, 2.499. So when we have 2.499, we're rounding to the tenths, hundredths. The thousandths place is our looker digit. It's 5 or above in our looker digit, so we have to go up in our hundredths place. We go from 49 to 50, so it rounds to 2.50. Now remember, when we're rounding to without decimals, and we're rounding to the tens place, or the hundreds place, or thousands place, or 10,000s place, everything after our looker digit and everything after it becomes zeros. But when we're doing decimals, there's no point in putting those decimals in there, because remember, you can have a million gazillion zeros at the end of a decimal, and it doesn't change the value of the decimal. So there's no point in writing that decimal in there, okay? You can just leave or writing the zero in there, the decimal, yes, but in writing the zero in there, there's no point in that, because you can have thousands of zeros, and it does not change the value of that decimal. Go ahead and look at section 4, and we have a division problem here I want to do with you. 3 4/7 divided by, what does that say? 5/14. So the first thing we have to do is turn our 3 4/7 into an improper fraction. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So we have 25/7. Now we're going to change our sign, times, and flip our fraction. Times 14/5 and not 5/14. So now we're ready to cancel out. 7 will go into 7 one time, into 14 two times. 5 will go into 5 one time, into 25 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10, and 1 times 1 is 1. So 3 4/7 divided by 5/14 equals 10. 10 over 1 is an improper fraction. 10 divided by 1 is 10, okay? Turn your papers to the back side, to page 280, And I would like you to look at section 5, and we will do letter C together. Section 5, letter C. So we have 1 1/2 plus 1 2/3. Might be nice if that looked like a 3, huh? And 1 3/4. All right, so we are ready to bring our whole numbers over and set up to make equivalent fractions. Because in order to add this, we have to have common denominators. So our denominators are 2, 3, and 4. What is our least common denominator, our least common multiple here? It is 12. So 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 will go into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 will go into 12 6 times. 1 times 6 is 6. We're ready to add up our whole numbers, 1, 2, and 3. Bring our denominator 12 down and add our numerators. 6 and 8 is 14. 14 plus 9 is 23. 23/12 is an improper fraction, so we're going to have to turn that into a mixed number. 12 will go into 23 one time. 1 times 12 is 12, and 23 minus 12 is 11, so it's 1 11/12, but we have a whole number here. We have a whole number here. Put them together, and we have 4 11/12. Okay? And then I want to do one more with you. Look at letter C. We have 5 and 1, what does that say? 1/3 minus 2 1/6. 5 and 1/3 minus 2 1/6. So we're going to bring our whole numbers over and set up to make equivalent fractions. So 6 and 3, our least common multiple, our least common denominator would be 6. 6 will go into 6 one time, and 1 times 1 is 1. 3 will go into 6 2 times, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now we do not have, or we can't, we don't have to borrow on this one. So 5 minus 2 is 3, 2 minus 1 is 1, and our common denominator, or our denominator is 6. So 3 1/6 is our answer. Okay, the rest of your work will be done on your interactive worksheet, so be sure and complete that to complete your math assignment for today.